They've won Tonys and Oscars and Emmys and Grammys. There's no red carpet 'cause they're home in their jammies. From Melrose Place to Broadway to Janeway and her crew. Let Seth and James bring all the stars to you.
Anywho,
they're entertaining everyone, so who's gonna grouse? Just sit right back and you'll hear some tales on Stars in the House.
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Liz Calloway.
You want me to turn up the sound stuff?
Yeah, I just like a little.
You can't hear Liz enough? Okay.
No, when you mix like that, you've got to be lifted.
So rude.
Is it? Got to laugh from tired. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Stars in the House. I'm Seth.
Oh, I'm James?
Correct, Mundo.
Okay.
We are raising money for the Actors Fund.
Yes, we are.
And I know that some people are like, what is the Actors Fund? Is it just for Broadway actors? It's for anybody in the arts, whether on stage or off, in front of the camera, behind. I mean, think of any possible arts-related job. You know, an agent, a box office person, a wig master, whatever you do, you can get help from the Actors Fund. And quite frankly, you're probably not working because nobody really right now is working in the arts. So a lot of people are going to the Actors Fund to pay their rent, to pay their medical bills, to even say, how do I get health insurance?
That's right. They have webinars to help people figure out what to do when they lose their health insurance.
Yeah, so anyone can get help from the Actors Fund. If you need help, get thee to the Actors Fund. You go to actorsfund.org. Ask, if you need help with your rent or whatever. And if you can actually give some help, why don't you donate?
You donate at starsinthehouse.com or text Fund 2020 to 56512, and then you can forward your receipt that you get to donations at starsinthehouse.com. And one of our guests will read or sing.
Or riff. So my sister, who's doing donations tonight, wants me to say two things. We have a new address, which is donations at starsinthehouse.com. So people are still forwarding the receipts to the old donation address because some of you old timers. So you forward it to donations at starsinthehouse.com. Plus, don't take a screenshot of your donations. Actually forward the receipt because the screenshot leaves out vital information. So forward the actual receipt to donations at starsinthehouse.com.
And the donations are a new total.
But wait, you mean since March?
Since March.
How much have we raised for the Actors Fund?
$444,950.
The whole show just keep modulating?
No, nothing else to report. Except please subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Yes, subscribe to our YouTube channel because it helps us get celebrities. Jack Plotnick goes, I'm not doing it unless I know you have more than.
Yeah, that's why he hasn't been on the show before. He said you have to have a minimum of 28,000 subscribers on YouTube.
So it was so hard to get him. It was annoying. I mean, he was just driving me crazy. So thank God. Anyway, so if you don't subscribe, we're not going to get people like Jack Plotnick, he's very concerned with his image. Being an A-list character actor. Anyway, so subscribe.
You know what? On that note,
he has to go.
I'm actually gonna watch the show from upstairs because before you bring everyone on. So.
Yeah, tomorrow's show is basically my generation. We have my whole generation coming out tomorrow. It's a
Generation Z. Though,
Generation Z show. So we have one of the kids from.
You have to have been born between 1995 and 2015.
Yeah, basically. So one of the kids from Stranger Things. We have Gaten Matarazzo. By the way, why am I Liza Minnelli? Activist. We have Gaten Matarazzo. We have Josh Colley. We have Lila Crawford. Who was Little Red Riding Hood. And we have Presley Ryan from Beetlejuice. So basically my peers, and they're all coming tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern, and James is getting the show together. Am I correct?
Yes, I am. And this is going to be a hard one, Seth, not only doing this by yourself, but most importantly, being done in time for us to watch the convention. So you're going to have to wrap this up by 8:55.
By the way, we're missing one of our ladies. I know Billy's going to be late, but Tammy's not here. But I'm going to bring on the guys.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna peace out. I'm gonna watch upstairs while getting ready for tomorrow.
Okay, so this show is dedicated to Carnegie-Mellon. Oh, I'm waiting. Oh, girl, hold on. You have to enter. Hold on. Some people don't know how to do it. Hold on. You have to enter in StreamYard. Okay, David, can you help her? She's quote unquote waiting. All right. Anywho, here are some clowns that graduated from Carnegie-Mellon. Like I said, Gen Z, my generation. Please welcome from Fire Island, literally taking some time off his vacation, Mr. Michael McElroy.
Hello. Hey, sir. Hey, sir.
Your Wi-Fi basically looks like a rotary phone. Never seen a fuzzier picture, but it's all good by not being good at all.
No.
Okay, Ben, it's all good. You have my friend Jack Plotnick, A-list character actor.
Try somewhere like B- maybe.
It's fine. Whatever we want.
Hi, Michael. Hi, Seth. Thank you for having me. We have enough followers.
Good morning,
finally.
Starshine. Good morning, Starshine. What you reading?
Good Morning Starshine.
Okay, we're going to take the Carnegie-Mellon jokes. They all graduated the same year. I totally remember that story. Hold on, we'll discuss it in a moment. Then we have the fabulous Tyrone Taylor. Hi, Ty.
Hey, everybody.
What's
Great
up, Ty?
And also from Carnegie-Mellon, Beltris, Ms. Tammy Tappan.
Oh my God, I miss you.
Hey,
Oh my God, Michael, I haven't seen you in
Look at you guys.
I know. What's
I feel like we
up?
should be walking down the hallways of Margaret Morrison.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
Aggie Mo. Oh my God.
And
Okay.
bye, Seth. And bye, Seth. Bye, reunion.
Oh,
Who's this Seth Rudetsky guy?
I'm muting your ass. So let me first of all explain. So, Jack, I'm going to get rid of that logo because it's covering up your face. So, guys, just so you know, on StreamYard, if you talk at the same time, all the sound stops. So anyone that wants to comment, simply do frantic nodding and acting with your eyes, Norma Desmond style, and then speak. But if you speak at the same time, there's no sound. Second of all, so what I wanted to do is get all these amazing graduates from Carnegie-Mellon, and there's so many that I didn't even include. I have to do another whole show with Emily Skinner and Eileen Caden and Donald Champlin and Patrick Wilson. That's another whole
Natalie
show.
Benicia Belcone.
Natalie, too,
Yes.
and Benita Harbor,
Renee,
and Keenan.
Renee Goldsberry. Renee Goldsberry.
Leslie Odom Jr.
Yes. There's one more. Speaking of Benita, there's someone with the same range that I also want to bring on. So not Benita Harbor, not Natalie Belcom, but basically the same range. Please welcome Mr. Billy Porter. Hi, Billy.
First of all, hi y'all.
Hi, Billy.
Here he goes.
I just got off the phone with Amy Klobuchar
Oh, yeah.
because she's a political bitch now.
Now?
She,
Billy.
Now?
okay, we are a nonpartisan show. I'm not even going to say who I'm voting for.
Listen, I am all the way partisan. Vote blue down the ballot
We can't
and
say
get us
that.
out this mess. You're not saying that. You're not saying it. I'm saying it. I'm not in the 501c. You're in the 501c.
Oh, it's C3.
I'm not in it. You're in it. I can't do it no more, y'all. I can't do it no more.
Okay, as my
I
sister
can't
said,
do it.
only those get away with it.
I don't care about your partisanship. You know, this bitch is trying to make us a dictatorship. Fuck that. Vote blue.
We are focusing on CMU mothers. So here we go. Let's all go back. Carnegie-Mellon University. Catch up later, kids. Catch up later. Okay.
Billy came in turned up. Billy came in turned up.
White lady pills after 6, honey. It's a public service. It's a
Anywho,
fucking service.
Carnegie-Mellon, did anybody have a memorable audition for going in for their...
Jack is confused.
Audition? Oh my Lord.
I can't. Anybody have an actual memorable audition from Carnegie-Mellon auditioning in the first place? Yes, Tammy Tappan.
I know Tammy does, and it includes me.
Yes, it does.
Go ahead, girl.
Yes, it does.
What is he drinking? Yes.
It's 5
Something
o'clock,
strong.
isn't it? At least. It's. I know I should have gotten some wine. I met Billy senior year of high school down in Florida at a scholarship competition, and then I saw him, and he saw me sing "Home" from The Wiz, and he just came up to me and just went, "Oh, you can sing," and walked away. And I was like, "Oh, well, thank you." You know. Then I see him at Carnegie-Mellon, and I hadn't signed up for the music theater track. I wanted to take the acting because I thought that they were going to be different acting classes. I didn't know it was the same track. So Billy, I know. So, you know, he was like, "What are you here for? What are you singing?" I went, "I'm not singing, I'm doing the acting." And he was like, "What? Why?" And I went, "Well, I want to take these serious acting courses." And he goes, "Honey, it's the same major. You just take more classes." And I was like, "Oh, shit. What do I do? I didn't bring anything." And he goes, "Well, what do you need? I know you sing Home. I got the music at home. What else do you get?" And I was like, I don't know, Vita, the kid, you know. And he's like, "I'll go home and get it." He got home. He went home and got sheet music for me. He's the whole reason I got into
Yes, I did. I went
home
home and got sheet music for Tammy Tappan. I was like, "Bitch, you will not come to this school and not be singing." I I don't know where you think you're going or who you think you are, but it's not going to happen without you singing as well.
Oh my god! And you roped me into gospel choir too. Go ahead.
Rabbi, Jack Plotnick, why don't we talk about your scholarship?
You're the worst.
I don't know the story. What is this?
Well, okay, so my family very smartly went bankrupt right before I had to go to college.
Oh my
Not by
god!
choice, we just didn't have any more money. And so I got like a lot of financial assistance, but my mother told my high school that it was a scholarship. And then at the end, there was like some sort of meeting of the whole school where like you would get up onto the stage if you won a scholarship. And they were like, Jack Plotnick won it was a very large amount of financial assistance. And I had to, Seth, you helped me here.
They were like, Jack Plotnick won thousands of dollars based on his talent. Total lie. So you had to be like, thank you so much. But it's really told he was poor. But his mother was like, based on talent. Based on talent at all.
Honey, please, I got mine based on poverty too.
It's fine, but you don't go around bragging that it was based on talent.
Oh, yes, I do. Oh, I see.
So it was kind of mortifying to have to be on stage and everyone's clapping because my big scholarship. And I'm like, yeah, actually.
I know.
It was based on talent too.
No.
I agree.
Yeah.
It was based on talent too, Jack.
In a way, you wouldn't get them. Well, that's a nice way to look at it. Thank you.
Come on now. Come on.
Come on.
Thank you. Michael McElroy, I know you were a year above them, but I feel like we all did Dreamgirls together, so you were still there.
Yeah, I was a senior when we did Dreamgirls down at Pittsburgh Playhouse. Yeah. But we did stuff together all the time because my class only had 6 musical theater students, and their class was almost all musical theater students, musical theater majors. So we did a lot of stuff together where we were singing in gospel choir or getting together. I remember, Jack, you and Tammy and Lisa, and I'm trying to remember who the fourth was, did Love Boat. Remember you did that for the talent show?
We were at the dinner.
Who was the fourth?
The dinner we called
The
ourselves.
talent, yeah.
The dinner.
And so we did stuff.
We were in the Chitlins. Talk about the Chitlins.
The Chitlins, that's right.
Yes.
Wait, but also, what about this? I was the only black person.
And we had a group called the
in
Chitlins. And
You were the only what?
I was the only black person not in Dreamgirls.
You were the only black person not in Dreamgirls.
Ty, why what?
Audition?
But you didn't audition, Ty. You didn't audition.
Because I wasn't really black.
I don't remember you auditioning. Oh, really? And what were you?
I was doing the classics. I was doing the classics on the main stage.
You wanted to be a serious actor like me?
No.
Okay, hold on.
What happened?
Everyone is talking about how talented this class was, but I don't know if that's actually true based on this photo.
Oh my God. So that's Tammy, that's Chris, that's Mark Brett Schneider.
That's Mark
Yep.
Schneider.
That's,
Greg Stewart. Is that Greg? No, that's
Greg Stewart.
Eric Scher.
Yep.
Eric
Yeah.
Stewart.
Greg Stewart.
Eric Scher.
And who's this
Chris.
one?
Chris.
Chris. What?
And Darren.
Isn't that Chris back there? He was in Little Night Music.
Yes, Chris McNamara.
Chris.
Carnegie
Not Chris McNamara, the other
that's
one.
it.
So many
No, not
incredible
Chris
performers were at Carnegie-Mellon around the time I was there. But the weird thing about our class was that like there wasn't, it wasn't kind of cool yet to be sort of out and gay, and also there weren't. Michael was like my first gay guy that I met at Carnegie-Mellon, right? But our class came in and was like ready to perform. We were all singing Dancing Gays.
Yes. We were the singing, dancing faggots, and we didn't care what they thought.
Oh my God. We came to school and literally dropped all fucks at the door.
But that was
all of them.
Sorry. It was
Yeah.
Darren Elliker.
Yeah, but it was also not a good time.
Darren Elliker,
Yeah,
yes.
it wasn't a good time for us. Yeah, it wasn't a good time for
It
us in
wasn't a
terms
good-
of
no.
being gay. And,
No.
and most conservatory programs at that time, that was not something that they valued, whereas now it's much more like bring yourself into the room and all different identities and gender expressions are welcome. At our time, the training was very specific, and I think all of us had a pretty challenging time at one time or another. But for me, it just made me fight harder. It made me believe in myself more, and we really did lean into each other.
We did
support each other to get through it.
Yeah.
And the teachers that really helped us and mentored us, people like Billy Wilson, who will always be someone special to all of us, and Victoria Santa Cruz. I mean, everything they say still resonates in my head and my heart. And we really were a close-knit family of actors who really leaned and depended on each other.
Absolutely.
Hey, I love that.
Now, where's my brain?
If people are wondering why I'm doing this show, so in the summer of 1990, I did summer stock, and I met Billy. We were doing Dreamgirls.
No, that was 88, honey.
No,
that was the summer of 88.
No, sister.
At least the summer of 99, of 89.
89.
It was the summer of 89 because it was
before my
it was
senior
still in the 80s. It was still in the 80s.
All right, literal. Anyway, so 89 instead of 90. Sorry that I threw you. So he brought his friend Ty to come visit. And
you did what?
You brought Ty to the cabaret. And Ty was like, oh, it's so weird. Your name is Seth. You remind me of someone I knew as a kid named Seth Rudetsky. And then I was like, oh, I am Seth Rudetsky. And then he kept going, shut up. And I'm like, no, I am Seth Rudetsky. Shut up. And there was like 5 minutes of that. And it turns out Ty and I had both been in this kid's
That's not how this.
Yes. Am I correct?
That's not how that story went.
How did it actually go, literal?
I mean, first of all, you were roommates with Eric Woodall, who was my roommate in school.
Okay, it's not true, but keep going.
Okay, now here's how the story goes. Seth was doing something. I was in a room sitting on a bunk bed across from him. And I said, you remind me of this guy I used to know when I was a kid named Seth Rudetsky. And you say, shut the fuck up. And I was like, this guy Seth Rudetsky. I am Seth Rudetsky. I'm fucking Seth Rudetsky. And I was like, so you were the ones that were saying the I ams, and there was a fucking in between it. And the idea that I had to prove it to you by singing the closing of this children's beginnings, or Young Stars. And I sang the closing number, and he and I both did it. And we both remembered the choreography from when we were 11 years old, 12 years old. And we did it together.
Oh my
God. It was like the scene from the movie. We did the whole number, finished it, and then gave each other a hug, like, oh my God, you and me must never part. But like, we had that moment. It was our Color Purple moment, Seth.
It was good evening, good evening. Ty, I think this is who you're thinking of. I had a middle part and wings.
Good evening. Entertainment's really fun. Talent is the bottom line. Beginnings.
This is Beginnings, New York's first professional showcase for children, and the first program of its kind in the country.
Now, Seth, let me tell this part. In that video that you probably don't see is Sarah Jessica Parker, is Gordon Greenberg, which a lot of you know is a director, Gordon Greenberg. He's in there. Sasha Tarnan, Martin Tarnan's daughter. John Cryer was in there with us. Terry Butler was in there with us.
Alex Winter was there. It was crazy. And they all became super famous. And I'm sitting in my living room. It's all good.
Hey, we're all here on your show, Seth.
Thank you. Right. The reason I was in that room is because of Billy. So we did Dreamgirls together at Summer Stock. Then they did Dreamgirls in Pittsburgh, and Billy called me and he said, the music is adding any of the sassafras that you can add. And you flew me down to Pittsburgh, and I did Dreamgirls with you guys, and then I was visiting Eric, and that's how we met. So, all right, Ty, we met with Eric.
Well,
now, who introduced Billy, you to Jack?
I just got to say something to Billy real quick on this thread. We all can't wait to get to the level of success when we can be on this thing with each other and picking our teeth while we talk. Like, that's a whole different level, Billy. We got our lighting and stuff set up, but once you got Tonys and Emmys and Grammys, you can just sit on this thing back. So,
listen.
Oh my
listen. Child, y'all are in my house now. Y'all get what's in my house. I'm
We're
sorry.
in Seth's house.
We are in the house. It is 8 p.m. Where did Tammy go?
She's on an iPhone. It's probably her Wi-Fi is messed up. So,
But that's why her picture looks so goddamn clear.
She'll be back. She'll be back.
Don't you guys wonder now? Like, why does her picture look so clear?
Mm-hmm.
It's
There she is.
Tammy Tappin Damiano. Where is that child of yours?
I think
Where is he? You're here.
He's. I am. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Bring him to you.
He's the one that brought Mom.
Never seen a frozen picture. Get back to my ass. Okay, so the point is, after you guys graduated, we all began working together. First of all, Ty Taylor, can we discuss for 2 seconds when you were on that rock show and you had a mohawk? Go.
I was on a rock star show and I had a mohawk. Go. Hey, but here's the funny thing. No, you know how in life, first of all, it's so good to see you guys. I hate to pause to say that in between, but isn't it crazy how in life you forget really important shit like that you kind of block out? Here's the thing. Somebody sent me a video the other day of when I got voted off of Rockstar. Now, when I got voted off of Rockstar, I got toward the end, all of my family and stuff were telling me that in all of the, the gossip magazines and on streaming and stuff, people were saying, what would this N-word be doing as the lead singer of NXS? And so it was a vote show, right? So now when I exited the show, I said something about it before I was like, I will not act like I don't understand what happened. Me and my people create rock and roll. I can't believe that I'm getting kicked off of this. But I forgot about that until someone sent it to me the other day. Like, I can't believe that I had enough. Honestly, I'm proud of myself. I can't believe I had enough balls before exiting a television show to say that in my speech. And I don't know what I would do. I guess I would do it today, but it actually shocked me that I was in front of millions and millions of people and chose back then to take a platform, and we're still doing it now, which is the crazy part.
Of course,
but I blocked it out.
Yeah, Tyrone though. Tyrone, I'm probably one of the only people that still call you Tyrone. Those were the tools that we as the underdogs, as the non-favorites at Carnegie-Mellon, we were able to build the tools to understand that the market was a certain way, and we had to combat that.
Right, but Billy, as you know, for a while though, because we spent time becoming educated. We spent time learning how to skate inside these rooms that a lot of people are not allowed to be into. A certain part of us, and I feel guilty about it sometimes, put our color aside in order to pay our rents. But
we try to, of course, yeah.
You know what I mean? And so this is why one of the reasons, Billy, besides your acting and your singing and everything else, this is one of the reasons why I'm so glad you're just breaking down walls bigger than anyone else would even think to, is because for so long, everyone had to keep everything, from anything that wasn't mainstream wasn't enough to get you in the door. And we wanted to be successful, so we had to pay that price. I remember, Billy remembers this. Billy was in Greece before me. This was before we had money to travel, so I'm talking about the Broadway show. Billy was in Greece before me. And Billy got me an audition because he heard that they were casting Duty. My agent wouldn't send me in for it because the only black role was Billy's role. And Billy's like, you better call Jeff and ask him. Jeff was the director. Ask him, can you come in? My agents still wouldn't allow me to go in. And I went in and I did magic changes because that was actually more right for me at the time.
Yes.
What Billy went. And still I had to pay my managers and agents all the money that they didn't want to get me in for that audition. So we just did what we needed to do. And I was glad that even back then we were choosing to stand up for what we knew to be right. Because what people forget is that, yes, it's important for us to remember things like amazing things about our heritage in ways that remind us that we're Black. But we also have to remind ourselves of our heroes, like what's it called? Like the Stormy Weather, like
Lena Horne.
Lena Horne, and all these people that knew how to bridge a gap for us in order to get in, and even have our faces be seen. And we were kind of those people as well. So it's hard now to reestablish our Blackness. For me, I'm enjoying it. I feel more Black now than I've ever felt in my life, to tell you the truth, because I'm realizing the importance of toting everything that comes with being Black, opposed to putting it aside in order to make a bigger check.
Wow.
Work it out.
But you know what I'm talking about. It's
I
like,
do know what you're talking about.
you know, my friends.
Go ahead,
say,
Michael.
Interesting. But it's interesting because for all of us, so much of our training at the time, and it was good training in that we had great teachers who taught us really, great craft. But a part of that training at that time was you were also being told that there were parts of you that were not valued and were not welcomed in the room. And being a young, Black gay kid from the suburbs, very quickly understood that in order to be successful, there were parts of myself that I had to partition out. Right. And then we spent most of our career back into the room, but also not only that, but to value it, because we weren't valued for that. You know what I mean? And that wasn't considered important. Now we had, like I said, people like Billy, all of a sudden we had this whole other perspective. And then Victoria Santa Cruz, and the stuff that she says still resonates in my head more and more every day about being there and being present, and living fully in a moment. But we were trained at a time where it was about the training and a specific type of student that they wanted to put out that represented their brand. And it was not about being unique or individual. It was about fitting that idea. And so we learned very quickly the fact that we learned to work hard all the time because we had a chopping block, a guillotine over our head.
Right.
So nobody wanted to let anybody else go down. It's like, I'm not going down. So we're going to work till 1:30 in the morning if we have to.
Right.
Well, it's interesting.
And so we learned how to work hard. And that
Tammy and Jack probably even recognize this. Michael, the year after you left, the freshman year that came in behind you, they started bringing in like some hardcore ethnic energy. And I saw that happen. We were almost at our school when that transition was starting. Like I remember being like, oh, these freshmen are coming in like this. Like it was a whole different thing.
Well, I have to piggyback on that because I always talk about, what is classic? We talk about being classically trained, right? And being classically trained is the foundation. But everything that represents being classically trained is based on whiteness. Is based on something that comes from a European and or white construct. So anything else outside of that has to learn how to be white to eat.
Yes, that's what we're
I
talking
had to learn how to be white so that I could eat. What's happening in our world right now?
That we have Victoria.
Yes, and Billy.
But isn't that amazing, Billy? That we had Victoria Santa Cruz that brought this whole other perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's true. But it's when we talk about classic, we've been talking about that a lot.
I would like to say, too, there were teachers there that were not Black, that were not African American, that really recognized us.
Of course.
And that was great. So I just want to make sure that I want to piggyback on what Michael was saying, just to say that it wasn't only the Victoria Santa Cruzes and the Billy Wilsons that loved us and supported us. Like there were certain teachers, you could tell by the way they looked at you, that they were almost begging for you to be more of that, but they knew what the overall construct was.
Right. And I also have to say too, that in terms of forgiveness, in terms of having hindsight, it was the 80s, right? And so I think about what was in the market for Black men, particularly. There were 3 archetypes, period. You had James Earl Jones, who was the patriarch. You had Denzel Washington, who was the sex symbol, and you had Eddie Murphy, who was the genius clown.
Right.
All of whom were straight, very often violently so. Carnegie-Mellon's job was to make us marketable. They were trying to do their job.
Interesting.
Oh, that's sweet.
This is where compassion comes in. This is where growth and adulthood comes in. It's like, oh, they weren't actually I'm giving the benefit of the doubt. But
I know
it wasn't about homophobia. It was about, very often, sometimes it was, but sometimes it was about, we want you to work.
Yeah.
And in particular, when you go to a conservatory program, you're not.
Jack.
When you graduate from a conservatory program, the whole point of that degree is that you could literally then join a Shakespearean theater company.
A rep company
and so
or something.
there are just boxes they had to tick off of us for us to feel like we got our conservatory training. But by definition, what it does is gets rid of all the edges and just sort of tries to turn everybody into one neutral man that can play anything.
Yeah. But anyone that's not us, that's on this thread, they're also saying, I know you guys are talking about things that are important right now because Black Lives Matter is in the forefront of everyone's mind. But you got to remember, just like color, just like sexuality, there was also the fat letters. So they didn't want anyone they were size, and they were prejudiced about size as well.
And for some people who don't know this, first semester sophomore year for me, going into Christmas break, I got a final probation letter from Voice and Speech, Elizabeth Himmelstein, who told me that my speaking voice was too high for the American stage and I would never work. And I went into her office and I looked that bitch in the face and I said, if my voice is too high now in December, it's been too high since August. I pay $20,000 a year for you to fix it. So it's time for you to do your fucking job. A lot of people don't know that that's what happened to me.
Hold on.
But that's what happened to me.
Billy, look who literally said the same thing happened. Literally the original Richie from a chorus line, Ron Dennis.
Wow.
My speaking voice.
Go to it.
We're talking about my speaking voice because nobody can talk shit on my singing voice.
No, Ron.
Hey, Ron.
And Billy, you were Richie. You were literally Richie, by the way, in Carnegie-Mellon. And I think, does this look familiar?
You better do your research, bitch. You better find the shot. You gotta get me that shot.
Hey, cut. Everybody, we got to take a medical break. The doctor's here, and I'm going to bring you guys back.
Oh, okay.
Here. So come back in 3 minutes. Go take a pee break. Bye, everybody. Bye.
Wait, what? What is happening?
What's happening?
Dr. LaPook is coming on. We're doing our medical break. Dr. LaPook from CBS.
Okay.
What, Billy? What's happening?
Bro,
Where we going?
Some clown is watching.
And I gotta go plug in my computer too.
Okay, come back.
Bye.
Someone's watching back of you. Turn that shiz off. I can hear it. Look at back of you. Some damn TV is on.
Hear what?
There's a TV on the back of you. I'm hearing that.
Oh, okay.
Thank you. Bye. Thank you. Bye, Ty. Now, I was talking to Mr. Dr. LaPook. Hi, Dr. LaPook.
Oh, they said the same thing about me and my speaking voice for being a journalist.
And then you lowered it and you became a correspondent. Nice place for that.
Falsetto.
What's up, LaPook?
There's a lot that's up. A lot of these attempts to bring kids back to school are backfiring right now. If it's happening in an area where it's red,
It's going to boomerang. Kids are going to come back. On the other hand, there are areas of the country where it looks, the green areas, where if they do it thoughtfully, they may be able to do it. In fact, I'm going to be doing a story about one in the next week or so. So stand by for that. I also did a interview today with the surgeon who did the double lung transplants. Remember, there were two patients, a young woman, and then at the beginning of June, and then a month later, a man who was a little older, and they had thrown the kitchen sink at them. They had no chance of survival, and they had both of their lungs replaced.
Oh my God!
With ones from somebody who had died from some other reason, and life. And I spoke to the guy today and his wife, and
so it's possible. It can work.
It's in all of this, amidst all of this tragedy, there are these beacons of hope and good news, and this is what happens when you're not falling behind in terms of the science. You're on top of it, and there's been all this science to do the transplant operations and now save their lives. Amazing.
Hey, speaking of that map about the schools, someone's asking right now, where can we find that map, Dr. LaPook?
I can send it to you. There are a few of them, but if you just Google, like there's COVIDExitStrategy.org, I think is one. I'm just doing it off the top of my head. Johns Hopkins has one, but if you go Google, COVID-19 space, the name of where you are, you'll find the state map. Each state has their map, and you can drill down to the county. And I will, I'll send you, Seth, some links, and maybe you can post it later today. Later, when I get off, I'll send you some links.
So basically, in terms of schools, to me, I think the answer is if you're in a dangerous zone, just opt out, because eventually the school's going to close in a couple of weeks anyway. So I just think about it.
Yeah, if you're in a dangerous zone, I think you're looking for trouble. But even in the ones where it's green, where it's relatively low, like I'm in Vermont right now, Maine, very, very low numbers right now. And even New York City has relatively low numbers. You have to say, what's the plan? And in addition to having, obviously, masks for everybody, having people spaced far apart, having good ventilation, all that, on top of that, you have to have a plan to test kids frequently. If you don't test kids frequently, since we know that there's a lot of asymptomatic infection, people shedding it and spreading it without having symptoms, when are you going to find that out? You're going to find it out weeks after it's already happened.
Exactly.
You can't wait for the symptoms, because the symptoms are not enough of an early harbinger.
The whole temperature check thing is making my head come off. It basically doesn't mean anything. It's so like haughty. We have temperature checks. Okay, I have a mood ring. It just drives me crazy.
Well, it'll catch some people, but it's one layer of protection, not a particularly good one. Masks are better as a layer of protection. Ventilation, I think, is super important. Having classes outside, people are having the classes outside in tents. INTENTS.
As long as there's ventilation. All right, Dr. LaPook, I got to bring back on CMU. You're going to be back tomorrow. Am I correct?
I will, and I'm going to send you some links.
Thank you.
Maybe put them up. Thank you for that.
Thank you, Dr. LaPook. Back to the CMU clowns. I've got Jacqueline. I've got McElroy with the TV off. I hope I have.
Yes.
Thank you. I busted you. I have Billy Porter. I have Tammy. Wait, now Ty. No. Who is Eileen Caden's roommate?
Ty.
And who else though? What's
Eric.
Eric Woodall.
And Eric.
Who?
Ty's
Eric
house was a party house, by the way.
I don't know. Are you talking about Eric Woodall?
Hey! Wanda. Hey, Wanda. It's Wanda. Hey, you got a cup there for me? You got a cup?
I do. Yes, I do. I know. I have so many nicknames from college. Some people know me as Woody. Some people know me as Wanda. Yeah,
Wanda Woodall. That's it. Tabletop players. Tabletop players. Woody. Hey, Keena knows you as that. Weren't you and Keena tabletop players?
Yeah,
Tabletop
I was part of
players.
that. Tabletop players.
Players.
Yep.
Okay,
It's been
so
so good to see you guys. It's been such a walk down memory lane.
I
You're
feel
an
like
iPhone 2, aren't you, Eric?
Jack was like mid-sentence and we had to go to medical break. Jack, what did you want to
Oh,
say?
no, never mind. No.
Well, then I would say this.
Chorus line story.
Basically, well, by the way, no, the one thing I do want you to say, Jack, because speaking of Natasha Diaz, please talk about you not understanding theater tradition.
Oh, yeah. Well, we did a little night music at Carnegie-Mellon, and kind of everything that could go wrong went wrong, especially that everyone in the cast got sick, and Eileen's appendix blew up. Like, it was crazy. And Natasha and I never told anyone till much years later that during performances of Little Night Music, we were in the dressing room rehearsing our scene from Macbeth.
Oh, God.
But anyway, I completely lost my voice and I was Henrik. And instead of replacing me, they said, well, maybe what we'll do is you mouth the words and we'll have Billy sing your part backstage when we get to that moment. And so Billy's backstage and with a microphone, and we get to the song later, and I'm going to start singing later when it's later, but my voice sounds like later. So we get to my part of the song, and I start mouthing it, and I can hear Billy behind me behind the curtain singing, but his microphone wasn't on. And so I'm like, later, when it's late. And meanwhile, I'm hearing Billy backstage like, later, like the most incredible high, clean, ripping.
Listen. I was singing the ink. I was singing the ink.
Like, I don't know which is worth me going later or that voice coming out of me after a whole show of me saying my lines like this. And then Ty, there's a moment when Henrik has to sing during Weekend in the Country, and they said, they said, Jack, just walk across stage and Ty will sing your line and you make it look like you're thinking, which was also devastating to cross the stage like that.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Oh. You're all idiots.
Oh
Okay,
my God.
Wait. Before we go any further, I have to do this. Natasha.
Oh.
What? Shit.
Freeze frame?
Yeah.
Froze. And then a freeze frame.
Froze.
Wonderful. Okay, so speaking of, this is quick. So we were talking about Grease before and about Billy doing it. Jack and I filmed this backstage at Grease. This was filmed in, I don't know whose dressing room it was, but this is Jack as Evie Harris, the alcoholic.
I love
her. Charlotte. And this is Evie's basically commercial she has to make as part of her settlement for killing a family of 6. So it's basically the commercial she has to make part of what's it, a community service. This is filmed backstage at Grease. See if you recognize the dressing room.
5 minutes, Miss Harris.
Hi, I'm Evie Harris. Welcome to my dressing room. I'm not actually in a show right now, but if I were, I'd probably have a dressing room sort of like this one. The reason I'm not in a show is because I'm an alcoholic. So if you want to kick your heels up on Broadway, don't kick back those dry martinis.
Places, Miss Harris.
Ooh. Not really. Break a leg.
Evie!
Oh my God.
Evie!
Oh,
Evie!
So
See,
funny.
Evie is an outgrowth. Evie came from a place of oppression. Evie came out of the necessity to express ourselves. I mean this truthfully. It's like we had to find a way to find our own voices, authentic voices. I talk about this all the time. It's easy to be who you are when what you are is what's popular. We did not represent anything popular. The thing that I love and the thing that I am so grateful for about Michael, about Eric, moving into these spaces of training and casting and artistic directing and leadership is that it's a new day. You are representing the shit that we didn't have. You are present for these young people, and you are giving them, you are empowering them with themselves because of where we came from. It's a very powerful place. It's a very powerful position. I can't tell you how many people I have met, Michael. And people don't know how close we are. People don't know our history. People don't know that, like, you're my brother. Like, I know all of it. And so to talk to your students, to meet your students on the streets or at different events, and hear them speak of the impact that you have had on their lives, that is truly grounded in what we came from. It's so powerful, because we are our ancestors' wildest dreams. We are the ones that make the difference. And it's a very heady thing. It's a heady position to be, because I talk about this all the time too, as we in our 50s, we are the last generation of artistic performers who were taught to be brilliant interpreters of other people's material. We were not infused and empowered with ourselves and what we came from.
That's true.
We were told that we had to be somebody else, especially if we were Black and especially if we were gay. I spent the first 25 years of my life putting on another layer to hide myself so that I could go into a job to eat. So that I could go into a place and get a job so that I could eat. It is a new day. And we are the ones who are at the forefront of that change. And it makes me so happy. And it makes me so, it imbues me with so much joy and so much hope. I see these little Black queens coming out of these training programs, and I'm like, yeah, bitch, you got something to do now. You better learn Lola.
Billy, go ahead,
Wanda.
Michael.
No, I was going to say, when I was offered this job at NYU, one of the things I said was that I made a promise to myself that I would bring the best of what I learned at Carnegie-Mellon, which was the training in terms of the commitment and the work ethic, and always being at 100% and giving 100% of himself, and none of the negative things, which was anyway demeaning or making a student feel less than or questioning who they are as human beings. So I also said I would never ever give up on a student, because I felt the teachers gave up on me, and it made for lots of years of therapy. And we're not crapping on Carnegie-Mellon, because Carnegie-Mellon was an excellent training program for us, and it it taught me all of us amazing training, but it also taught me how to fight for myself, right? Even when I didn't believe in myself, I still had to fight for myself, right? And we learned that, and also I can't say it enough, that we were a close-knit group of people, a close-knit group of friends who really did lean on each other to validate each other and to support each other and to love each other and laugh a lot. We did had a lot of laughter, and we worked our butts off. I don't ever remember sleeping. And yet somehow we were always up at 8 o'clock for voice and speech, but we always had crew till 11 or shows and still had to rehearse our scenes. I don't remember how we did it. I don't remember.
We were teenagers.
And I also think I also think one of the things that we walked away from, and we're all such examples of this, we walked away with discipline and a work ethic. I mean, that's what that school taught us. And Billy, I appreciate and love your words so much. I've had such amazing conversations with you and Michael and Ty, you know, when I got this job as artistic director at North Carolina Theater, about how this is still doing service and how we are passing on the best of what we got and what we have learned since then. And I think a lot of that individuality, because we were feeling a sense of being boxed in a great deal of the time, because that's what they were there to train us for.
And that was what the time was.
That's right. But we found a way to express outside of that. So many of the characters, Evie reminded me of that, but so many characters we created, you know, in our off time in the cafeteria, and it was our way. And a lot of those things have followed us into our professional careers. And so that was kind of that amazing outlet right there.
You guys had a whole musical. You had a whole musical that you all came up with, and you all do like box lunch. That's all that sticks in my head for some reason.
It was pre, you know, whatever that Love Supreme thing that Lin-Manuel Miranda does. You know, we were improving musicals. We were taking ideas from people. Jeff Cubatowit, aka Jeffrey James, would sit at the piano. We would get ideas, and we would literally for ourselves. It wasn't for nobody. We would be in an empty rehearsal room doing this shit.
Yep.
I have to tell one story though about Jack Plotnick. And I tell this story all the time. You know, when I came into Carnegie-Mellon, I got into Carnegie-Mellon because I could sing and because I could dance. The two angels in my life were my drama teachers from high school. One of them being Lenora Nemeth, and one of them being child, I can't remember her name because my white lady pills have kicked in. But what is her name? Peggy Hughes Rustlander. And she pulled me aside. She pulled me aside senior year when she heard I was just going to move to New York and be a star. And she said, listen, she and Lenora Nemeth, she said, you can sing, you can dance. Every time you open up your mouth, it's a disaster. You're going to go to Carnegie-Mellon and you're going to learn how to act. When I think about the angels in my life, when I think about those people who really understood just literally how to put their hand on the small of my back and push me in the right direction. And I was also open to hearing it. Anyway, I digress. I get to school. I am the worst actor in the class by far. I had no idea what I was doing. And when you come to Carnegie-Mellon or you come to one of these programs, you come from being the best from where you are to then get in a room with the best of everybody from wherever they came.
Yeah.
So it's very intimidating, you know, and a lot of people in my class were way further along in the acting portion of the situation than I was. I had no self-confidence. I had no self-esteem. I was way too much of a sissy, and that was all I was hearing. And I had I wasn't feeling anything. And so we had, I'll never forget this. We had a cabaret that they allowed us, or I guess it was they made us do it. Like it was a part of the journey, and we put our own stuff together. And Jack Plotnick came to me with a scene. I can't remember what the scene was, but I don't know what it was called, but it was a comedy scene about a straight man who's on break from being a construction worker, having his lunch, and a woman walks past him. He catcalls her, and then all hell breaks loose. It was a very, very funny scene. He said, Billy, I want to direct you in this scene. And I said, Jack Plotnick, I read the scene, and I was like, Jack, I can't do this. First of all, I'm a fucking faggot. I can't be a construction worker. I don't know how to do that. Secondly, I'm not funny. He said, I'm sorry, he looked me in the face and he said, Billy, you are one of the funniest people I know.
I mean,
just give me a chance. Let me direct you and we will be fine. And I was like, all right, because I was game, that's what we did. We threw ourselves into it. We jumped off the ledge. And he directed me with Pam. It was Pam Gutteridge. And I'll never forget rehearsing it and thinking, I'm stupid. I'm horrible. This is never going to work. We get in front of an audience. I say my first line, and the audience laughs so hard that we have to hold. Jack, you saw me in a way
you hadn't
that the teachers couldn't even see. Wow. The people who were being paid to identify these things in us couldn't even see.
I just, I don't know if they understood how helpful it would have been to say things that they took for granted, because you wouldn't have been there if they didn't really love you, and we know that by all the kids that got cut. But I hear you, Billy. You just needed a mirror to sort of reflect how beautiful you were at the time. But that's a nice thing about Carnegie-Mellon, which was they said, why don't you guys put on a show? And that show only happened because our class had the energy to do it on no sleep. And
right. Mel suggested it.
Mel Shapiro, yeah.
Mel Shapiro.
It was incredibly empowering, and not all conservatories would have given us that space to do that. And that was a really wonderful thing. And we all loved it. Yeah. And I know that I don't think I would have created some of the things I created if I hadn't had that experience there.
I want to say two things, Chloe.
Thank you, Billy. I love you.
Can I say one more thing about that? One more quick thing.
Let me just interrupt for 1 second and say, Jack is an acting teacher right now for the people that are watching, and Jack does an acting class almost every 2 weeks, so you got to follow him for that. Ty Taylor, go.
I was going to say one of my favorite moments in those sophomore cabarets in the studio theater at Carnegie-Mellon, conceived by Mel Shapiro, that Billy was just talking about was...
I think you're junior year.
Junior cab. Okay, well, go ahead. Correct me in front of the world. Junior cab.
We got to get it right, kids. We got to get it right. This is history, bitches.
This is for you two.
Go ahead.
Well, you too. One of my favorite moments was Billy Porter and Natasha Diaz in the Felix Awards singing How Do You Keep the Music Playing? And the best was when they got to the end of the song, that thing when you get on the opposite sides of the stage and then you do that slow walk in. I know that slow walk that takes you the whole time to get to the center.
Oh my God. Oh. And we would just raid the costume department and go, what do they have? Oh, they have all these white jumpsuits. Great, let's put these on. Oh my God. The things I learned not only from the teachers, but just everybody around me that brought so much creative energy. That's, you come to the school and they go, okay, you're talented, and that's the last time you're going to hear this. Now we're going to work on what you're not. So you have to try to keep your self-worth together.
Yes.
But you forget a lot of it is because you take so much time taking this off and taking this off and taking this off and taking this off that you forget what was there to begin with. And the cabarets helped us remember, oh, right, this is what I came in with. And, oh, maybe there's a little bit of that. When somebody's looking at me and going, hey, I want you to do a monologue. A monologue? Oh, okay, I'll try it. I loved that whole aspect of those years at Carnegie-Mellon, just being surrounded by intensely crazy, talented, creative people.
I feel you all graduated with such humility. Tammy, I remember when you were offered Ellen in Miss Saigon, and you immediately assumed it was the understudy. And they're like, no, it's the role. And you're like, it is?
I was like, what? Yeah. Literally just like, what?
The hell? By the way, I literally found a clip. You can't see yourself, but listen how great Tammy sounds.
It's all over, I'm here, there's nothing to fear. Chris, what's haunting you? Can't you let me inside what you so want to hide? I need you to.
I don't hear it.
She made that note sound low.
Right.
I don't even hear. I don't even hear what you were playing. What were you playing?
Oh, you gotta get better.
You got nothing to fear. You have nothing to fear. Christmas
Wait, real quick. Tammy's frozen. Tammy's today sent me the best piece of gold. There is an Instagram page called Chris What's Haunting You. It's Instagram / Chris What's Haunting You. It's people failing at the note. It's the people that had to go, Chris, what's hooting you?
You're welcome, America. You're welcome.
Chris, what's hooting you?
Okay, kids, we got the DNC in 2 minutes. Two things I want to say. All of you guys have done benefits for me. All of you, like for all these years, I figure you're all social justice warriors. So two things I want to say. This is the latest, by the way. This is Michael McElroy. We worked on Free to Be You and Me together. Just watch some of this brilliant arrangement that he did in the amazing video. Take a gander.
Sisters and brothers, every father's daughter, every mother's brothers and sisters, sisters and brothers, each and every one. Oh, sisters and brothers, brothers and sisters, every mother's daughter, every father's son. Sisters and brothers, brothers and sisters, sisters and brothers, brothers and sisters, sisters and brothers, brothers and sisters, ain't we everyone?
You know, Ty, Tammy, and Billy were in the original Broadway Inspirational Voices. There were 11 people, and they were 3 of the 11 people in the original Broadway Inspirational Voices.
Okay, but let me say this before we go. And this is the thing that I have to create, that I have to say for the world to understand. It didn't start in New York. It started at Carnegie-Mellon.
That's right.
Michael McElroy has always been that leader. When I got to Carnegie-Mellon sophomore year and was able to align myself with another Black man who was gay, who grew up in the Pentecostal church, who understood what that meant and understood that our connection to that music and that faith was what would sustain us. We were in gospel choir extracurricularly at Carnegie-Mellon. He don't like to talk about that part. The Broadway Inspirational Voices started at Carnegie-Mellon. And now we got Tonys and shit.
Right. And wait, real quick, while you're on that same train, Billy, I have to say about these two, Michael and Billy, before I came to Carnegie-Mellon, I did not know anything about the depth of gospel music that Michael taught me. And, you know, I just think about that every day. And most times I sing. And Billy taught me how to do any run I know to do this day. And I remember them both coaching me through it. Michael telling me about how to open up on high notes and mouth it and neck it and let it out. I remember Billy telling me, you gotta relax. That's why you can't riff. He would tell me like, just relax it down. And like the second I did, I was like, oh, sing less, I can move faster. Like
Sing less, you can move faster.
I can't believe everyone assumes that I grew up listening to so much gospel music. My church was more like spiritual music. Every squawk, every riff, every curdle, every hand fist singing a note, I learned from Michael McElroy and Billy Porter. And I never, ever forget that. People think it comes from the time I was a kid. I'm like the guy that was with Seth. I was singing theater songs and doing shit like that. I was not in church. I didn't come from places where people were passing out in aisles. Every bit of soul, more so than most of the soul music I learned, and this is probably the first time I've ever said this, more so than all the soul I listened to in my household, I literally got it from Billy and Michael McElroy. And
You're gonna make me cry.
Too much to me.
You're gonna make me cry. This was Seth, I have to say. My schedule is crazy, and I was not looking forward to this. But I am so happy I came. It has filled my soul in ways that I didn't even know that needed to be filled. For real.
For real.
Seeing all of your faces and just having a conversation, reminding ourselves that like we're the shit.
And not only that, other people that met at places like us are the shit that need money right now. So donate.
Thank you, Ty.
right.
Two more
That's
things I
right.
want to do. Billy Porter, another amazing benefit you did for me. I want Ty and Michael to see this, and I think they saw it. It was for the Gay and Lesbian Synagogue, and Billy tore it the hell up. One of the many benefits we did together. And listen to the rip on greatest. Hold on. It's 5 different notes. Here we go. Work.
Looking down, you'll never see me. Try the sky, cause that'll be me. I can make them cry. I can make them sigh. One day they'll clamor for my drama. Hey, have you guessed yet? Who's the best yet? If you ain't, I'll tell ya one last time. You bet your last name in all of the world so far. I'm the greatest
Oh, I've got something great. Seth, you guys know Allison Porter, right?
Yes.
Allison Porter. I taught her the riff that really just sang that I've learned to him. She didn't understand the da-da-da-da-da.
Yes, that's it.
Bottom note. And I taught her that once on live stream the other day. Da-da-da-da-da. She's like, oh, that's the bottom. She never did it.
I can't sing like that no more. I'm
Sing it down the octave.
I've lowered the keys down a fourth. Nobody cares.
It's all good. Okay, before we're going, Ty Taylor, you guys have all done for me my hospital shows. I did this thing, Hearts and Voices, for almost 20 years for AIDS patients. Actually, they were in prison. I was a prison ward. They had AIDS. And Ty Taylor always showed up. He always sang this, and I begged him to recreate the song that we used to do in the prison wards.
Oh, now?
Yes, Queen.
Well, it's a marvelous night for a moon day with the stars up above in your eyes. A fantabulous night to make romance beneath the cover of October skies. And from the trees all the leaves are falling to the heartstrings that play soft and low. And I'm trying to please the calling of my heartstrings that play soft and low. And all the night magic, it seems to tremble and hush. and all the soft moonlight seems to shine in your blush. Can I just have one more romance with you, my love? Can I just have one more moon dance with you, my love? Well, I want to make love to you tonight. I can't wait till the morning comes. And I know that the feeling's just right, and straight into my arms you will run. And when I come, your love will be waiting to make sure that you're never alone. And then all my dreams will come true, dear. There and then I will call you my own. And every time I touch you, you will tremble and hush. And how much you want me that you can't hide. And I just have some more romance with you, my love. Can I just make some more romance with you, my love? Oh, well, I want to make love tonight. One more dance with you. One fabulous night. Oh, one more night. Hey, and all the night's magic seems to tremble and rush into the soft moonlight. Seems to hide in your blush. Can I just have tomorrow romance with you, my love? Can I just have one more days with you, my love? One more day with you in the moonlight, baby, one fabulous night. Hey, say that I don't wanna say that you wanna leave it, you wanna say that 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 you wanted to be with me on this moonlight. Hey, can I just have one more romance with you, my love?
Sing it!
All A's.
Oh, Tyrone, that's so amazing.
I know Steph was waiting for that E I didn't do. You know,
Yeah, I know.
those were the days.
Forget that.
But by the way,
We are in our 50s. Let the children do that. We don't have to do it anymore.
Tammy's going to come back. Tammy's going to come back with better Wi-Fi. We're going to have the latest Carnegie-Mellon thing. Ty, before we go, for Eric Woodall, please recreate with Ty would call me and leave on my answering machine because they had a bicycle horn in their house, and Ty would leave me this message all the time for that stupid horn.
Wait, hit the C. Hit the C. Hit the C.
It wasn't a C. It was like an A.
Yeah, it was a door, and it was a
the
horn
C.
that it hung on my door, didn't it? And it would go.
Times have changed, and
You go, you get out of nowhere. I'm just getting the answering machine in here.
Oh my God.
That's what it was like. That's what it was like living with him all the time. Yeah.
This has brought me so much unexpected joy. I can't even thank you all for this. I gotta go watch the Democratic Convention.
That's right. We all do.
Natasha says hi, and so does Kina. Hi, Kina. All right, Cloud.
What did Natasha say?
Natasha
Where's that
says,
picture? What did she
how
say?
dare you, Taylor Tyrone. Kina, love you all so much. You guys, I'm gonna.
Oh my God! Thank you so much.
Go watch whatever's on.
thank
Peace
you for
out.
having us.
Thank you guys.
so
Love you
much.
all.
Thank you, Seth. It's so good to
I
see
love
all of you.
you.
Thank you, Seth. Thank you, James.
See you soon. Bye. had a shock.
To the